It was the rainiest night of my life when I realized she never loved me the same way she loved them. I was 16, standing outside a locked door, listening to my own mother choose which child was worth saving. That silence, it was louder than any scream. It was the sound of a betrayal that had been brewing for years. I grew up feeling like an extra in my own family, like a bookmark left on a shelf, easily forgotten. My sister, Clara, was the straight-A golden child, Mom's pride and joy. Every cheerleading trophy, every college acceptance letter was framed and spotlighted. My brother, Ethan, was the charming rebel, Dad's constant, expensive problem. Always needing bail, always needing a loan for some disastrous new venture. And me, I was just Maya, the quiet one, the one who didn't cause trouble, the one who paid for her own used car by working double shifts at the diner. I didn't get noticed. I didn't need saving, so I didn't matter. It felt like walking on a stage where the spotlight always missed you, even when you were singing the loudest. I remember one Christmas. I'd spent weeks knitting a scarf for Mom. It wasn't perfect, but it was mine. She opened it, smiled tightly, and immediately draped it over a chair. Then she unwrapped the designer handbag Ethan clearly maxed out a credit card for. Her eyes got wet. "Oh, Ethan, you shouldn't have." I felt a tiny, cold knot of jealousy twist in my stomach. I just wanted one tear from my effort, one moment of genuine pride. But all I got was the silence that followed, the silence that said, "You're sweet, but you're not important." The real mystery started the summer I turned 16, right after that miserable birthday where they forgot the locket. A man named Mr. Peterson showed up at our house. He was wearing a suit that looked too expensive for our neighborhood. His shoes were polished, but his eyes were kind, but deeply sad. He looked like a man carrying a heavy truth. He asked to speak to my mother. It was supposed to be private, in the den. I was across the room pretending to read a thick novel, but the air felt heavy, like before a severe thunderstorm. The only sound was the distant noise of the lawnmower next door and their hushed, intense voices. I heard snippets, like "the foundation" and "your mother's wishes, Mrs. Carter." And then the word that made my heartbeat jump like a startled rabbit: heir. Mom's voice suddenly got shrill, totally unlike her usual calm. "It's handled, Mr. Peterson. Thank you for your time, but you are wasting yours." She walked him to the door, her back rigid. As she turned, I saw her hands tremble so violently she had to grip the door frame. My inner voice screamed, "What is she hiding? And why did that man look at me so strangely when he left?" I couldn't shake it. The word heir felt like a secret key. I started looking. I became a ghost in my own house, slipping through the shadows after everyone was asleep. I stopped sleeping much. The need to know eclipsed everything else. The attic, a dusty, forbidden place Mom swore was structurally unsound. The cold night air seeped into the old house through a loose window pane, chilling the sweat on my neck. The old floorboards creaked with every tentative step I took. Tump, tump. My heart was doing a frantic, anxious dance against my ribs. I found a heavy, old steamer trunk beneath a pile of moth-eaten blankets. It was locked with a rusted padlock. I used an old hairpin, one of Clara's, and after 10 minutes of focused effort, it clicked open. Inside, I found the expected things: baby clothes, old report cards, Dad's military records. But then, tucked into a velvet pouch, I found 2 pieces of paper. One was a faded birth certificate. It wasn't mine. It was my brother, Ethan's. But the last name was different. Peterson. Wait, what? Ethan was adopted? Or was he related to that man? The second paper was a letter addressed to my dear sister Margaret. Margaret was Mom's first name. The handwriting was elegant, looping. The date was over 15 years ago. I felt a sudden, dizzying wave of betrayal mixed with confusion. They weren't just neglecting me. They were living a massive, complicated lie. I waited a week, watching them, observing their forced cheerfulness. I saw the way Mom looked at Ethan, a panicked, overprotective love that suddenly made terrible sense. She wasn't just protecting her son, she was protecting a secret. The silence between us grew wider and colder, like a canyon opening up in our living room. Then came the night the power went out. It was a vicious summer storm, and the rain was drumming a terrifying rhythm on the roof. We were all in the living room, huddled by a sputtering, battery-powered lantern. The light cast terrifying shadows on the walls. Mom started talking a low, nervous whisper to Dad that she thought the storm would hide. "We need to tell the children before he comes back, George. The will is final. Only one of them can have it. The terms are clear." My stomach dropped. I could feel the blood rushing to my ears. Will? Only one of them? Then the true horror, delivered in a voice filled with raw, desperate finality. "If it comes down to it," Mom said, her voice cracking, "we choose Clara. She deserves the stability, and we owe it to him. To protect Ethan, no matter what it costs us." She was sitting right there, less than 5 feet from me. She was invisible. I heard the footsteps of fate walking past me, deciding my future without even acknowledging my existence. She chose them. Both of them. One for her dreams, the other for her secret obligation. She hadn't even considered me. The heartbreak was immediate and physical. It felt like a heavy, cold fist had just crushed my chest. I stood up. I didn't scream or cry, just a quiet, flat question, my voice sounding distant even to my own ears. "Am I part of this family at all?" They froze. Their faces in the lantern light were pale masks of regret, exposed and ugly. Mom started babbling, reaching for me. "Maya, sweetheart, it's complicated. We love you. It's just..." I cut her off. The years of quiet resentment boiled over into a deadly calm. "No, it's not. You never even had to choose between your children. You chose for them. And you chose against me." I walked out. No suitcase, no goodbye. Just the keys to my beat-up car and my phone. As I walked down the street, the rain washing away the tears I didn't realize I was crying, the cold night air felt like a bitter comfort. I heard a car pull up beside me, slow and cautious. It was Mr. Peterson. He saw me standing there, soaked, broken, and alone on a dark street. He asked, "Maya, are you all right? I just wanted to drop this off for your mother. I was worried about the storm." He held out a thick, official-looking envelope, sealed with an impressive crest. "You look like you need a friend, kid," he said, his voice gentle. I looked at him, feeling a sudden impossible wave of hope crash over the despair. I didn't hold back. I told him everything about Ethan's birth certificate, about the will, about the choice they had just made. He listened, his expression shifting from concern to deep, profound understanding. That look felt like a second chance was unfolding right there in the rain. Then he reached over and took the envelope back from my hand, his voice dropping to a low, powerful murmur. Maya, what your mother won't tell you is that the will wasn't for the family house. It was for the Peterson Family Foundation's full control, a massive organization, and only a blood relative of the original founder could inherit. He paused, letting the magnitude of the secret sink in. My grandfather had 2 children. One was my father. He paused again, a tiny, powerful shock moment that felt like an electric current. The other was your mother's sister, a woman she told everyone died young. Your Aunt Carol. And your Aunt Carol's only child was you. My mother never had to choose between her children. She was protecting Clara and Ethan, her adopted son and her favorite daughter, from a truth she thought would destroy her life. She was the one who was adopted into the family herself, decades ago. She wasn't an heir at all. She was terrified of losing the comfort of her life and scared that if I knew my true lineage, I would leave. The money, the legacy, the real inheritance, it wasn't a choice to be made by her. It was a legal formality to find the true next of kin. The will was Aunt Carol's final, beautiful letter, setting up a trust that was meant to find me on my 18th birthday. It was a trust fund designed not to buy a house, but to fund my dreams, my education, my life. It was freedom. My mom chose Clara and Ethan because she was still trying to keep my Aunt Carol's memory and the money a secret, out of a weird mix of guilt, fear, and a lifetime of being overshadowed. But life had already made the choice. Mr. Peterson helped me open the trust early. The letter from Aunt Carol wasn't a choice. It was a promise. She told me to always choose kindness, even when others chose fear. She gave me the emotional and financial freedom to pursue whatever made my heart sing. And I did. I chose to leave the secrecy, the neglect, and the heartbreak behind. I chose my own way, my own future. I went to college, funded by the love of a mother I never met, and I found the family I deserved. Sometimes when people choose against you, it's only so the universe can step in and choose for you, bigger and better than you could have ever imagined. My inner voice now wasn't asking, why not me? It was saying, this is my story now, and it's just getting started.